Any views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on the Rejuvenating Health podcast are solely those of the speakers and are intended as such. Please consult your trusted healthcare practitioner for medical advice. Let's go, girls. Hey, ladies. Welcome back to the Rejuvenating Health podcast, where we talk all things hormones, metabolism, and mindset. And I'm Lindsay. I'm your nurse practitioner and founder. And today we have like a fun, different episode. Coach Lakin isn't here. Instead, we have Coach Allison and one of our amazing clients, Leena. And we're going to dive in to Leena's powerful journey that she's been on over the past 6 months. Like, I think she joined a lot for maybe some physical transformations, but she really had a very much like mental and emotional and physical transformation. But we're super excited to chat with you today and hear your story, Leena.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here and to share my story. It's been kind of an amazing experience.
Yay, yay, yay. So let's just start from the beginning. Like, when you first came to Rejuvenating, what were you struggling with?
Gosh. Oh my goodness. I mean, so many things. And like I was struggling with, I had some insulin resistance. My blood sugar was high. I had terrible insomnia. My hormones were really, I'm 46 now. From the time I turned like 40, 41, for those several years before, I had a lot of like kind of what felt like early like perimenopause symptoms, like some irregular cycles and a lot of insomnia. Depression would come, like super intense depression. I was struggling with a lot of hopelessness, adrenal fatigue. I had like no cortisol left to spare. I was tired. I was on a sabbatical from my work because of adrenal stuff. I mean, I think that's it. And over the course of those several years, I just kept gaining weight. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to you and like you weren't working because you just felt so awful. Like you were pretty much at your wit's end of, I can't go on living like this anymore.
I definitely was. I mean, I had intentionally taken this sabbatical. I'm a midwife, and so I had to take like time off so I wasn't on call getting up at night and going to births and stuff. And I took that time off because I knew that something had to shift. Like last fall, I realized that I had the adrenal fatigue going on, and I just knew like this is not sustainable. Something has to change. And so I took this 6 month sabbatical for the first half of the year, which ended right when I joined the program. And I felt like I was worse at the end of the sabbatical than when I started it. And so I was really just like, what is, it was so much hopelessness because I felt like I did all the things that should have worked, right? Like I was taking all the supplements and I was getting the rest and I had the sleep schedule down and I took the time off work. I did all of the stuff that you're supposed to do. And then it was like, I felt like I was just spiraling like down, down, down.
Yeah, yeah. And you met with Allison first. Like you worked with Allison for like a month before we even got your blood work back. And chime in, Allison, on like your perspective when you first met Leena, what she was going through.
Yeah, oh, Leena. Leena has become one of my favorite clients. I'll just preface all of this by saying that. But yeah, Leena came in really. I remember one of the first things she said to me is, I'm not one of those clients that doesn't do the stuff. Like I work out, I eat well, like I'm already doing everything right. It's just this blood work. I've got to get all this figured out. So she was coming in kind of telling me, and she does, like she does work out, she does eat really well. She came in as a vegetarian, so that was an initial challenge that actually changed pretty quickly, all just on her own decision. I did not push anything on her, she decided. But yeah, she came in quite honestly kind of a dark place. That feeling of hopelessness was very, very strong. And she mentioned, depression. I feel like that's exactly where she was when we first started. So that was hard.
Yeah, I think you hit on a really key point there, and that we do get a lot of women that come to us. They're like, I'm doing all the right things. I just need the blood work. I just need you to tell me what's going on. So from your perspective, Leena, like, talk to me about why you didn't just need the blood work, but why you needed Allison as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I realized until I started working with Allison, or until I didn't realize until I joined the program what I needed at all. I think another piece of it for me, and I'm branching off, I'm not answering your question yet, but another
No, it's
piece of
fine.
it for me was like I had spent 5, 6 years like trying to do it all myself, like trying to piece together, like I'm a healthcare provider, like I have a lot of practitioner friends, like so I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'll do these herbs and I'll see this person for thyroid medication, and I'll do, like, I was kind of just managing it all myself. And so when I came to the program, it was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I have to like hand the reins over to somebody else. Kind of like almost like the way people come into 12 step where you're like there's a higher power, like I'm not in control. Like it kind of felt like that. Like I was just like I have to just trust that somebody else is like in control. So when I came in, um I didn't even know, like the health coaching part of it. I remember just kind of initially having like, okay, I don't need that. Like, I don't need someone to tell me how to eat. I lift weights, I exercise, I do all this stuff. Like, I don't need that. So I think initially I was like, okay, well, that's part of it. Fine, I'll do that part, but that's not what I need. And then pretty quickly, once I decided to join, when I made the decision to join, I honestly kind of like the way people join 12 step. Like I have my best friend is sober in AA for a long time, and she talks about like the very first meeting she went to where she was just like, she just walked in and she's like, I'm going to do whatever these people tell me. And when I came to the program and I finally decided to join, I was like, I'm going to do whatever these people tell me to do, and I'm just going to do it. So by the time I joined, I was like, sure, health coaching, great. I'm going to talk to this coach. I'm going to let her give me suggestions. I'm going to be open. But I don't think I realized that it would be as helpful as it was.
Yeah, and I think that that's huge what you just said. Like, you came in surrendering because a lot of people, like, I'm sure Allison can attest to this too. We work with a lot of women, and a lot of women don't come in and surrender, and they kind of battle us the whole way. And those are the women that don't get as good of results, right? Like, if you can get, like, I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Allison, but
Yeah.
I know that I feel that.
I do actually. No, I do think you're exactly right, Lindsay. But even for Lena, who decided I'm going to do whatever the heck they tell me to do, there was still like this, that was still really hard for her. And a lot of our conversations were about, well, what about this? Well, I've been researching this and I was going to try this. And it was, it's funny now to look back on it because she's come such a far way, but she would like find one thing and that was the obsession for the week. And it's like, well, should I be doing this? I feel like I should be doing this, and so I called it spiraling. It's like you're spiraling into something that we've not discussed yet. This is not something that's come up for you. But it was something that she felt strongly about. And we kind of just had to talk through that. And that's hard to trust the process when you are used to handling it all on your own and doing your own research. You do have to surrender to it. And that's not easy. It's not like you decide right then and everything's perfect. There's still a battle that you're fighting. And that's why the coaching is so helpful, because it helps you kind of, there were several times that we would talk and there would be like this aha moment where she would realize, like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, I don't know how many times you would say that. And you would like take a pause and you're like, yeah, that's right. And not that I had the answers, but it was helping her realize what she was doing in that moment and how that wasn't helpful for her.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The one thing that comes to my mind related to what you're saying, Allison, is I remember one time I was talking to you about like wasting energy, like related to my adrenals, like how, like wanting to kind of look at like where am I spending energy that maybe I could be conserving. And I was talking and I just remember after I was done, I probably talked for too long and was just spiraling. And then when I was done, you were like, well, do you think you spend a lot of energy worrying? Like, do you think that takes up a lot of your energy? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, obviously, but I wouldn't like, so I feel like through our conversations, there are all these little insights about myself. It was really just you observing things about me and then reflecting them back to me. And it was like, oh, that's a really good point. Like maybe let's focus on that instead of this other direction that I was going to spiral down by myself, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I remember when we first started, I would get an email from you like every week, which is totally fine. And now I'm like, oh, I haven't heard from Leena. Like, you eventually just started
I
trusting, which
actually
is
said,
totally fine. I don't care if my
yeah.
clients email me, but I just remember that.
Yeah, I said something very similar recently because Lena would message me multiple times a week, which is just how our relationship was. And that I knew, okay, if I don't reach out to her, she's going to reach out to me like every single day. And we'd go back and forth, back and forth. But I know she's in a much better like mental state now. Like she's doing good because I don't really hear from her really that much. I mean, anytime I reach out to her, she always responds back, but there's never this like, okay, I need to talk about this. This is where I'm at right now. Like, she's come a long way.
Yeah. 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 I mean, like when we did your labs, you definitely had some thyroid issues going on and your adrenals were like, you were taking all these supplements to bring your cortisol down, and your cortisol was like non-existent. I'm like, stop taking that stuff.
I remember when you said, you're like, you're taking too much, like just stop. And I was like, oh, well, that's an interesting idea. And it
It was,
worked. It worked because then we tested again like 2 months later and it was like back. Like I had cortisol again. Remember, it was like 2 months
yeah.
later, my cortisol had gone from like 1 to 16 or whatever. Like,
Yeah. And you could like get out of bed again.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what's it been like going through the program for you? Like, what was your like turning point, do you feel like?
That's a good question. I mean, to be honest, I would say there's probably a few, but honestly, for me, one of my turning points was that like decision to join. That was actually even before I started the program. I think the decision to join, I went back and forth also on a lot
I
of calls
remember.
with your
Yeah.
Sarah, I think.
Sarah and
I
me.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I went back and forth, asking her so many questions. I was like, I'm not that person that needs to be told to take magnesium to sleep. Like I need more than that. So I was just felt very unsure. And so I think when I made the decision, like I said, to join, that was a turning point. That was my like surrender moment of like, I accept that I don't have the answers and I'm going to believe that maybe this could get better instead of just like drowning in the hopelessness. So that was a turning point, honestly, just to join. And
Yeah.
then I think, the mindset work has been such a huge part of this program for me. And I don't know, I had a friend the other day ask me, she's like, what do you think it's been that's made the difference? And I'm like, all of it has been a part of it. I mean, every piece of it, it's not, you can't pull out like one thing, right? Like it's the whole
Mm-hmm.
picture, but the mindset part really stands out to me as having been so transformative for me. I feel like a completely different person.
Yeah. So I think we need to dig into that a little bit further because when people hear mindset, they're like, they think that you're just telling yourself to like be happy.
Yeah.
And that's not what I don't. So I think going a little bit deeper into that analysis. And
Yeah.
if you like, I know that you did a lot of work with Crystal. Crystal was your mindset coach,
I did.
right?
Yeah.
But then a lot of it pours in over into with Allison too, because your coach then is an extension of that.
Yeah.
So talk about what that was like a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, mindset. Yeah. I had the same thought. I was like, okay, I don't know what this is, but sure, whatever. It's included. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Um, and I used to be a therapist. I have a degree in clinical psychology. Like I have been in therapy for a long time. And so I always thought mindset work was kind of like fluffy, like, oh, it's just like trying to change your thoughts to be positive. And it's never really been my thing. Um, and then I had my first session with Crystal and I was like, oh, this shit is like getting deep. Like we're getting, oh, sorry, I don't know if you're allowed to swear on this
No,
podcast.
it's fine. Go ahead.
like we're really getting into some stuff. And then the first session we had, it was about my sleep and the story around my sleep, which was utter hopelessness around my sleep issues. And by the end of that session, I was like just tears and just had so much awareness of the ways that my own mind is holding me back from even experiencing anything different or more hopeful or more positive. And then I just kept going. I mean, then I kept working with Crystal, for a bunch of sessions, and we dug into all sorts of stuff. But I think like some of those really deep beliefs around like where that hopelessness comes from in me, um, some of those things come from like very young places in myself, like the hopelessness, the negativity towards my body, the feeling of a lot of the feelings towards my body. Um, so many of those things we kind of started to unpack, and I started doing all these things like when I would get on the group mindset call and like or Krista would have a little homework or whatever as part of my like I'm doing all of it. I did everything. Crystal had me put like the what if all the good stuff like on my I have it still on my mirror. There's a post-it every night before bed for the last like 6 months. I like go through and say all the what if I can restfully sleep, what if like all the good stuff. I just started doing all of it, but I don't think I realized that it would shift things in such like a like almost like a permanent kind of way. Like I've done work before where you start to see a little bit of a shift, but you're still stuck in the same old patterns. And so you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're still just circling the same issue over and over again. But this was like some of this stuff just shifted and it just changed. Like I don't struggle with like the hopeless thoughts anymore. And that's crazy for me because I have lived in hopeless thoughts my whole life. I mean, and now when the hopeless thoughts come up, I can so quickly just bring myself back to like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Why would that be true? And then I could just come back to center. Um, I never, ever would have imagined that some of those things could change. And I certainly didn't think that a program like this that I joined for other reasons would lead to that.
Yeah, I think most people think about our program and they're like, oh, it's to balance my hormones and to figure out something that's wrong. But I literally tell every one of you, I'm like, no, a healthy body is healthy from like a blood marker space. It's healthy from like a habits space, the way you like do your healthy lifestyles. And it's healthy from a mental mindset space. And if you don't have all three of those things, like if you don't have the habits, if you don't have the good blood work, and if you don't have the good mindset, then you're never going to be like able to feel the way you feel now. And that's why it takes all of those aspects working together to be able to get out of that vicious cycle that you were kind of in essentially. And you tried a lot of different things. And I think it's really hard for professionals. Like you're a professional, like you're a midwife, you're a well-educated woman that was doing all the right things. So to ask for help and surrender that you couldn't do it on your own, that's hard to do.
I think it's a hard decision to make, but as soon as I did it, I felt this immense amount of relief of like, it's not like it's such a weight on me that was like, I'll just hand it over to you guys. I'll just pay you and then hand it over to you. And then it felt like such a relief to me to not have that responsibility.
Oh, we talked about like where you were at when you started. You were hopeless. You couldn't really get out of bed. Your thyroid was jacked up. Your hormones were kind of wonky. Um, you weren't working. Like, what does life look like now? Like a lot of,
Yeah.
and you did have body composition goals that you wanted. And I mean, you didn't have some like crazy 50-pound weight loss goal, but kind of like, where are you at now? And what kind of results and reflection do you have?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I started in a hard place. I actually could get out of bed. What's crazy is that I'm just such a like, I just keep going kind of person. I was
Yeah.
getting up every morning, getting my kids to school, doing my workouts. I was functioning. I just didn't realize how tired I was, but I
Yeah.
was so tired. Like sometimes I would walk in the door after going to the grocery store and I was like, I literally have to sit down. Like I'm just tired all the time. Now, yeah, and I did have body composition goals. I mean, over the course of, this last whatever 5 years, like I've always been a small person, but I just like gained 5 pounds. So I was like, okay, this is weird, but fine, I guess we'll just accept this. And then I would gain
We'll
five more
just stay
pounds and
here.
then 5 more pounds. And then it's like, okay, now we're getting into like territory that feels very unfamiliar to me and doesn't feel good. And I think with that, I had kind of just been working mentally around trying to find acceptance about the changes in my body. I was like, okay, well, you're in your 40s and blah blah blah, and so we're just going to accept it. And finally, I reached this point in May, right before I joined, where I was like, no, I don't accept this. Like, I want something different, and it's okay to want that. And I'm going to seek out options to help me with that. So I did have a goal of, I mean, it's not a tremendous amount of weight, but it's probably like 15 to 18 pounds of weight that I'd gained, that I was like, I would be very happy to lose like 10 to 12 of that or whatever. Um, so now I am, was as far as weight, I probably lost like almost half of, if I had to guess, maybe almost half of the total of what I had gained.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I feel good. I feel like clothes that didn't fit in the last year or so are fitting again. Like I'm definitely feeling better when it comes to that aspect. But besides that, I mean, um, it's everything else. Everything is different. I mean, my blood sugar is normal, I
I
think,
know.
which is
Yes.
crazy because I've been working on blood sugar for like a year and a half. I mean, I worked on it. I did all the right things that you're supposed to do. But my blood sugar seems like it's pretty normal. Sleep is like, sleep is up and down because I do have hormones fluctuating and all that kind of stuff. But in general, I sleep much better I would say in the last 5 months. Most nights I'm sleeping enough. And I think the bigger thing with sleep is that I don't feel distressed about it. Like when I don't sleep, my mindset is positive. I don't spiral into that, like, oh my gosh, I didn't sleep. Maybe I won't sleep tonight. Maybe I won't sleep for the whole next week. And then someone's going to have their baby and then I'm not going to sleep because of that. Like I used to just kind of spiral about the sleep. And now it's like, I feel very positive about it and hopeful. Um, I feel happy. Like I haven't been depressed since May. I feel genuinely very happy. I feel more present. Crystal and I did a lot of work on some deeper issues that I have around kind of not being present or dissociating sometimes, and I feel like there's been shifts there. I feel very present when I'm with my kids or my family or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, I
I
love
Can
feel
I
all
talk
that.
about the
good.
weight loss for a minute?
Can
Yes,
you?
Can I
Sure.
talk
please.
about your weight loss?
Sure, go for it.
So this is okay. So losing half of the weight that she wanted to lose. This is coming from someone who, like, for the first 3 months in the program, did not believe that her body was ever going to change, ever. Like, she was adamant and she was like, well, I'll just keep doing it. I mean, maybe it'll change, but I just don't know. Like, it's probably never going to change. And, I'm feeling better, so that's fine. But we know deep down that that was still her goal. Like, we
Goal.
still want to
Yeah.
change. And so you've lost about 7 pounds, which is huge for you because your weight was not moving for a long time. And if it was going up, not down,
Hmm.
never down. And now it's going down. And the way that your check-ins have been lately, and talking about wearing jeans that like you have not worn and thought you would never ever wear again. Yes, you've lost weight, but your body has changed too. Like, it's not just about what the scale says. Like, your body has changed and you're feeling better. Even if you don't ever lose the rest of that weight, your body is feeling better than it had been in a really, really long time.
Yeah, that's true. I remember you used to say, because I remember telling you at one point, Allison, I was like, I'm probably just gonna be one of those people that like does the program and all the mindset's gonna work and the sleep's gonna get better and blah blah blah, but like the weight's not gonna change. Like I
Yeah.
just kind of had that idea because it was that last thing that was like that can't change. Like don't be
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. Like that can change, sure. But like this is the thing that can't change. And I think there was that underlying, like, it was one of the things that I really wanted to change, but I didn't want to even let myself believe that it could change because it was like, don't even get your hopes up, was kind of the feeling that I had. And I remember you would say, because it took, nothing changed for several months. Like it's just started to change more recently. And I remember you would tell me, Allison, sometimes you would be like, your body is changing. And I remember, like, I have that in my mind, you would remind me, like, in the ways that, like, the blood sugar was improving and my sleep was getting better. So you would just remind me, like, your body is actually changing. So that would kind of just combat that idea in my mind of, like, my body can't change. So if it's changing in these ways, why couldn't it also change in these other ways? I think so. I would held on to that from you for a few months before I actually saw some of the other changes that were more obvious. But
I mean, I also think that you have to, like, I don't know if you correlate this, Allison, at all, but I noticed, like, when I stopped hearing from Leena, she started losing weight because she had
mm-hmm,
healed all the other stuff, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, your weight, like, your adrenals were so bad that you had to heal all that other stuff before your body would release the weight, right?
Right.
And we get so many women that come to us with so many adrenal issues. And I'm like, you can't, like, your body doesn't feel safe. It is not going to lose weight until it feels safe. So do you see that, Leena? Like, are you able to correlate that, like, okay, yeah, once I did heal that stuff and I started feeling safe, that's when I started losing weight?
I literally had that thought like yesterday. I had the thought, like, oh, yeah, your body feels safe now, so it can let go of some of the weight. And I think, I mean, I've heard you talk about that, but like, I literally just had that thought. Like, that's exactly what I think happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful.
So cool.
Yeah. So as her coach, like, what are your biggest takeaways from her story, Allison, or her transformation?
Well, I could go on and on about how proud I am of her, but I think the biggest thing, and I will come back to that, the biggest thing is just trusting the process. That is so hard to do. Especially, Leena, she understood a lot of this stuff. Like she came in knowing her cortisol levels, knowing her blood mark. Like she had done this work before, but she still needed to surrender to the process and accept the help to get to where she is now. So I just think, you know, you decide to sign up for this, surrender to it and trust the process and trust that it may not be a couple of weeks, it might be a couple of months, but we will get there. And then, yeah, I'm just so proud of the work that Leena has put in. I mean, Leena is not the type of person to half-ass anything, and she did go all in. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything that we talked about, she did it 110%. And that's what you've got to do to be able to see results sometimes, because this stuff is hard. I mean, it's not easy fixes. You've got to dive all in and be committed, and she was, and that's why she feels like a totally different person now.
Yeah. I think being a midlife woman is hard. And you think that you should be able to do it all on your own. Like, you should be able to be a super mom. You should be able to take care of your health. You should be able to, especially if you're a healthcare professional, like, and I'll tell you, like, we're the worst at taking care of ourselves.
So
This is
true.
bad. Lena, what would you say to someone who's listening, or what would you say to yourself 6 months ago that was, like, tired and scared? Like, you were scared. Like, what would you say to that woman?
Yeah, I was scared. I mean, I felt like if these things can happen, my health is just going to keep spiraling. Like I was like, how bad can it get? I mean, yeah, I was scared. I even I have glaucoma. I was diagnosed with glaucoma several years ago, and my glaucoma had been like worsening, like to the point where like I have to see a specialist very frequently. And then this summer, I don't know if I ever told you, this summer, right after I started the program in July, I went to see my specialist and it was stable. And it's like almost like regressed a little bit. Like it's really
That's
stable right now.
awesome.
So, I mean, all like, so stuff that I just didn't even think was possible. I think I would say like, I don't know. I mean, I think for me, the hopelessness was so much a part of what was kind of keeping me very paralyzed, was like not even seeing the possibility for something to get better. Um, and I think now I look back and I'm like, even when I look forward in my life from here, I'm like, anything's possible. Like things that my brain can't make space for or understand because my mind is so limited. Like anything is possible. And that I think I have learned to like be connected to the things that I want and believe that they can happen, instead of like keeping my life and my world kind of small.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, I'm super proud of you. And like, I know we're going to continue working together. We're not done yet, but I think that you're super brave to trust us. And I feel honored that you did trust us. So thank you for trusting
Thank
us,
you.
because it's hard.
Yeah, it's been amazing. You guys have been amazing. I have felt very cared for. I remember one call with Allison. You told me that Sarah, who had done my onboarding, had asked about me, and I like cried. Like because I felt so like it felt so genuine. Like I felt like they really care about me. They're not just like phoning it in. Like they actually genuinely care about me, and I have felt that from the beginning, and it feels good. So thank you.
Of course. Of course. Well,
We
Leena,
do care
thank
about
you.
you.
We do. We care about all of our clients.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing your journey. And Allison, thank you for being like such a light to our clients. And if you're listening to this and you're ready to start your own transformation, whether it's physically, mentally, hormonally, whatever, just pop over to our website, message us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But until next time, take care of your body, take care of your mind, and keep rejuvenating your soul. And we'll chat with you next time, ladies.